Happy families are all alike. Every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Call me Ishmael. It was a bright cold day in April, and the clocks were striking 13. Shoot A3, you coward. Leo Tolstoy. Herman Melville, George Orwell. Brian Colangelo, wife. While NBA Twitter in no way relates Anna Karenina other than the fact that some games can make fans want to throw themselves in front of a moving train, it still stands out in the way that opening words can draw the eye and splash the imagination with glossy colors, as all great works of literature tend to do. Just don't remind Ben Simmons of that. That being said, no one in their right mind expected a phenomenon as massive, or as playfully ridiculous, as NBA Twitter. To those who are unfortunately blind to what's considered extraordinary entertainment, NBA Twitter might seem like a 27-car pileup on I-5 during rush hour in Burbank, while Burbank itself is engulfed in wildfire flames. It's all yelling, cussing, arguing, statistics, meme and GIF wars, all of which are being cast into an internet void where they're either spear-lined across different feeds or lost seemingly in translation. It's vertiginous. There was no other word for the onset of an activity so forcible in a way that's not grandiloquent or careful, with cheap adjectives and uneven stares. Vertigo, is it? Vertigo is the key, and NBA Twitter's sharpness peaks once the fox in its agility catches its foot in whatever today's trap happens to be. One day it could be burner accounts. The next it's players sneaking into mentions to go toe-to-toe with trolls. 1 minute it's social breaking over a man-child prodigy's step back. The next it's the initial surrounding whispers about an underdog team that's fighting its way up the Western Conference standings. Without it, we wouldn't have treasures like this. I still think the B word is harsh and shouldn't be used. He know that decision was soft, but I respect it. It's like getting jumped with her brothers by a gang you should have beat, then joining the gang that jumped you and her brothers 2 months later. That is until Newton's first law of motion decides to make an appearance. Newton's first law of motion states that a body at rest will remain at rest unless an outside force acts on it, and a body in motion at a constant velocity will remain in motion in a straight line unless acted upon by an outside force. Apropos to no one, NBA Twitter started affecting the game in real life and in real time. It became the outside force that shifted the narrative for the long run. Fans had found a way to get inside the heads of players, and following suit, the players would relate either on the court or on the web. The outside force turned into the fans and non-fans alike. Twitter was no longer that empty wishing well people maddeningly shouted in order to get out some aggression. It turned into a living, breathing pseudo-amphitheatric that set up camp in the minds of players. It changed the game. And while NBA Twitter managed to keep it all fun and games for a bit, something else managed to slip through the cracks and frigidly entangle itself with the former. Stay in your lane. Their lines too often start with the same old words. I'm not racist, but placed specifically in that order. Twitter trolls. Their Twitter isn't hard to spot thanks to their personalized 4-letter hashtag, which can easily prompt a person to say another 4-letter word out loud when discovering they're interacting with someone from this specific Twitterverse. Here, the clock always strikes 13. When they speak from behind their lack of profile picture to their suspiciously few followers, their words simulate a color that is neither here or there in terms of parochial originality. Apricot lined with glossy vermilion surrounding its burnt edges. The shape of their voices is that of whatever the hill and American flag looks like in a cesspool reflection. It isn't the color or the shape that interests and speaks to a certain crowd, but rather that restless child quickness of their tone. It shoots forward rapidly and always manages to go wide like a dancing bullet. On a recent Monday evening, a fame-seeking Utah Jazz fan successfully goaded Oklahoma City Thunder guard Russell Westbrook into a compromising position after heckling him with some outright racist words. "Get down on your knees like you used to." Video footage of Westbrook reacting to the words went viral, and some people were quick to crucify Westbrook, a player known for his temper. Donning a camouflage hat and a flaccid expression of smug earnest, the fan went on the record following the game during a condescending TV interview in which he called Westbrook classless, and played the victim. Shane Keisel, the Jazz fan who was involved in a verbal altercation with Russell Westbrook during the Jazz loss to the Thunder, explains his side of what happened. At KSL5 TV at Cole Sports. It echoed harshly, its sound mimicking tone-deaf children blowing spit into recorders as they attempt to recreate Wagner's Walker and Rit with vacant expressions and crust-lined nostrils the shade of shallow lime. Surrounded by the media, Westbrook went on the record about what went down. Russell Westbrook says the comment from the Jazz fan that set him off was "get down on your knees like you're used to." Picked out twitter.com/IOVilleBluge. Tim McMahon at @spin_McMahon. March 12, 2019 NBA Twitter, most of who appear to moonlight as amateur detectives in their spare time, went to work shortly following the incident and dug up some interesting tidbits surrounding the fan, including him specifically going after Westbrook via Twitter in the past. His past tweets contain flagrant douchebaggery nonsense with heavy racist, xenophobic overtones and undertones, some of which were aimed at Westbrook himself. His hate-filled words struck like a jagged, ingrown toenail on silk. After NBA Twitter went to work, the Utah Jazz issued a statement, permanently banning the fan for life. The hate, it isn't new. This isn't new unless you're part of a majority that doesn't deal with online hate on a daily basis, and then watch in horror as the online hate breeds real-life hate that bleeds into your physical surroundings. The entity that mostly consisted of floating word debris in a sea of technological blips and bloops became the outside force that managed to stop Velocity dead in its tracks. The recent scene echoed in tint to a delayed heated scene that occurred on the Sacramento Kings sidelines back in February. Two men in customized jerseys, one with the words "Build the Wall" on the back and the other with Trump, sat courtside, taking in a Kings game at the Golden One Center. Backlash actually poured in a dyslexic fashion onto NBA Twitter in the days following the game when a photo of the two went viral. "It's not a political statement," one of the jersey-wearing men said in a phone interview with the Sacramento Bee, blatantly contradicting the words on the back of his jersey. The debate lit up NBA Twitter and started a fire across timelines as both sides went for the jugular. Those who thought the jerseys sparked hate were attacked by Twitter bots who saw nothing wrong with the jerseys. It was supposed to be in good fun. Hell, they're just clothes, right? Oddly enough, these were the same bots who were enraged by NBA players wearing "I Can't Breathe" shirts after the death of Eric Garner, who had died after a confrontation with a police officer back in 2014. They just clothes. It's just a hat. They're just words. They're not just any of those things anymore, and they never really were. Ask any person of color, any woman, any person from the LGBT community, and they'll all tell you that the hate is normal. They deal with it every day when it bleeds into their everyday existence. Basketball players constantly deal with obnoxious NBA fans, and they're also told to ignore their vermiculated words. To Russell Westbrook's defense, here is even further proof of his previous interactions with Utah Jazz fans. In this video, @RussWest44 has called it "boy" by a Jazz fan ahead of Game 4 of OKC's first-round playoff series against Utah on April 23, 2018 at Vivint Arena. Picked at twitter.com/LC6LA7FTO. Eric Woodyard, @E_Woodyard. March 13, 2019. It's 2019 and people are just now finding out that 280 characters can both set fires or stifle them in the real world and in the world of Twitter. These people are not just armchair trolls hiding behind a keyboard in their mother's basement. They're living, breathing humans filled with a special kind of hate. The bleeding over is real, and they're no longer just words blinking on a black screen. And in a truth that goes beyond your socio-political beliefs or who you voted for or the color of your skin, some people are slowly finding out in the most dangerous way imaginable. So Leo Tolstoy and Sir Isaac Newton be damned.